It was a crisp Saturday morning in late spring when my sister Emily threw open my bedroom door, letting in a flood of sunlight and her signature excitement. "Get up, sleepyhead," she sang, her voice laced with enthusiasm. "We're going to the zoo, and you're coming with us." I groaned, burying my face in the pillow. "Can I just skip this one? I'm not really in the mood to see giraffes today." Emily ignored my protest and marched to the side of my bed. She yanked the blanket off me, revealing my rumpled pajamas and bedhead. "Not a chance, Alex. Mom, Lucy, and I already agreed. It's a family outing. And besides," she trailed off, a mischievous grin spreading across her face. I sat up, suspicious. "Besides what?" Emily crossed her arms, feigning innocence. "Well, it might be fun to try something different today." "Different how?" I asked, narrowing my eyes. "Let's just say we've noticed how much time you spend in your room lately. We think you could use a little more expression." My stomach dropped. Emily's ideas always led to something outrageous, but before I could protest, she held up a shopping bag from her side. Inside were clothes that were clearly not mine, pastel colors, floral prints, and lace peeked out. "Wait," I said, my voice cracking slightly. "What are you planning?" She plopped the bag onto my lap. "Alex, we think you should spend the day as part of the real family." I blinked. "What does that even mean?" Emily leaned in, her expression softening. "It means we want you to see what it's like to have some fun with us. No judgment, no pressure. Just try it. It'll be like an experiment. A day at the zoo as a girl." My face flushed red. "You're joking, right?" "Not at all," she said, sitting on the edge of my bed. "Think of it as a little escape from being boring old Alex. You'll be Alexandra for the day. And don't worry, we'll help you every step of the way." I hesitated. The idea was equal parts terrifying and intriguing. I'd never openly shared with anyone that I occasionally wondered what it might be like to embrace femininity, at least for a little while. But Emily's suggestion seemed innocent enough, and her excitement was contagious. Before I could stop myself, I muttered, "Fine. But only for today." Emily squealed and hugged me so tightly I thought my ribs might crack. "You're going to love this. Trust me." An hour later, I stood in front of the mirror in Emily's room, staring at someone I barely recognized. My normally shaggy hair was tucked under a honey blonde wig that fell in soft waves over my shoulders. My face was subtly transformed with makeup, just enough to soften my features and add a bit of color to my cheeks and lips. I wore a flowy pink blouse paired with a white skirt that swished around my knees, and on my feet were ballet flats that felt strange, but oddly comfortable. "Ta-da," Emily announced, stepping back to admire her handiwork. "You look amazing, Alexandra." I turned to her, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement. "I don't look ridiculous?" "Not at all," Emily said firmly. "You look like a natural. Right, Mom?" Our mom walked into the room, followed by my younger sister Lucy. Both of them broke into wide smiles. "Wow," Mom said, tilting her head as she studied me. "Alexandra, you look lovely. Super pretty." Lucy chimed in, bouncing on her toes. My face burned with embarrassment, but I couldn't help smiling. Their reactions were genuine, and for the first time, I felt a spark of confidence. "All right," Emily said, grabbing her purse. "Let's head to the zoo, ladies." The drive to the zoo was a whirlwind of chatter and laughter. Emily coached me on walking gracefully, while Lucy insisted on teaching me how to adjust my voice to sound more feminine. By the time we arrived, I felt like I'd been through a crash course in Girl 101. As we strolled through the zoo entrance, I was hyper-aware of everything, how the skirt swayed as I walked, the breeze against my legs, and the way people glanced at us. But to my surprise, no one seemed to notice anything out of the ordinary. To them, I was just another girl enjoying a day out with her family. Our first stop was the flamingo exhibit. Lucy was obsessed with them and spent several minutes trying to mimic their one-legged pose. Emily snapped pictures while Mom and I watched, chuckling. "You're doing great," Mom whispered to me. "Feeling okay?" I nodded. "Yeah, it's different, but not bad." She smiled warmly. "I'm proud of you for stepping out of your comfort zone." Sometimes it's good to see things from a new perspective. As we moved on to the giraffes, Emily and Lucy continued to tease and joke, pulling me further into their world. At one point, Emily linked arms with me and said, "See? Isn't this more fun than staying home?" I had to admit she was right. By midday, we stopped at a cafe for lunch. While waiting in line, I noticed a group of teenage girls nearby, giggling and chatting. For a moment, I felt a pang of envy at how effortlessly they seemed to belong in their skin. But then Emily nudged me. "Hey," she whispered. "You blend right in, you know." "Do I?" I asked, glancing nervously at the girls. "Totally," she said with a wink. "And if you're worried about them, don't be. Girls aren't as scary as they seem." Her words gave me a boost of confidence, and by the time we sat down with our food, I was starting to relax. I even managed to join in the conversation without overthinking every word. The rest of the day flew by in a blur of animal exhibits, souvenir shopping, and ice cream cones. At one point, a little girl approached me, holding out a shiny sticker. "You're really pretty," she said shyly before running back to her mom. Emily grinned. "See? Even strangers think so." As the sun began to set, we found ourselves at the zoo's butterfly garden. The air was warm and filled with the soft hum of wings. Lucy ran ahead, chasing after a particularly vibrant butterfly, while Emily and Mom hung back to take pictures. I stood in the middle of the garden, watching the butterflies flit around me. For the first time all day, I felt completely at ease. The weight of self-consciousness had lifted, replaced by a sense of freedom I hadn't known I needed. Emily joined me, her voice soft. "So, how does it feel, being Alexandra for a day?" I thought for a moment before answering. "It feels nice. Different, but nice. Like I could get used to it." She smiled, her eyes shining with pride. "You should do it more often. You're amazing, Alex, no matter how you choose to express yourself." Her words lingered with me as we left the garden and headed back to the car. By the time we got home, I was exhausted but happy. The day had been more than just a trip to the zoo. It had been a journey into a part of myself I'd never fully explored. That night, as I stood in front of the mirror removing the wig and makeup, I caught a glimpse of something I hadn't seen before: confidence. The kind that came from embracing who I was, even if only for a day. And as I climbed into bed, I couldn't help but smile, knowing that Alexandra might not be gone for good. As I lay in bed that night, staring up at the ceiling, my mind buzzed with thoughts about the day. I replayed every moment: the laughter, the way the skirt swayed around my knees, the compliments, and how natural it had all felt. I couldn't help but feel a strange sense of loss now that I was back in my usual pajamas, my makeup wiped away, and the wig placed neatly on its stand. I wasn't sure what to make of it. Was today just a fleeting experiment? Or was it the beginning of something I hadn't fully understood about myself yet? The next morning, I woke to the sound of soft knocking on my door. Emily peeked her head in, her expression tentative. "Hey, can I come in?" "Yeah," I said, sitting up and rubbing my eyes. She stepped inside and sat on the edge of my bed. "So, how are you feeling after yesterday? Was it too much?" I shook my head. "No, it wasn't too much. Actually, it was kind of amazing. I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like I wasn't pretending. Like I could just be myself, but in a way I'd never tried before." Emily's face lit up. "I was hoping you'd say that. You were glowing yesterday, Alex. It was so obvious that you were having fun." I hesitated before responding. "Do you think I could do it again?" "Not all the time, just sometimes." She reached out and squeezed my hand. "Of course. You don't have to do this alone, you know. We're here for you no matter what." Her words filled me with a warmth I hadn't realized I was longing for. "Thanks, Emily. That means a lot." "Anytime," she said, giving me a playful nudge. "So, what's the plan for today?" Because I'm not opposed to Alexandra making another appearance. I laughed, shaking my head. "I think Alex needs a breather. But maybe soon." The days that followed were a strange mix of normalcy and introspection. I went back to my usual routine, school, video games, and lazy evenings, but there was a subtle shift in how I saw myself. Every now and then, I'd catch myself glancing at the shopping bag Emily had given me, tucked away in the corner of my closet. One evening, about a week later, Emily burst into my room with her usual energy. "Okay, I have an idea, and you're going to love it." I raised an eyebrow. "Should I be worried?" "Not at all," she said, plopping onto my bed. "Mom, Lucy, and I are going to a movie night at the park tomorrow. You should come," with a twist. I gave her a skeptical look. "Let me guess. Alexandra?" "Bingo," she said, grinning. "It's the perfect opportunity. It's casual, it's outdoors, and there's no pressure. Plus, I already picked out an outfit for you." I sighed, pretending to be exasperated, but deep down, I was already considering it. "You're relentless, you know that? And you secretly love it," she shot back, sticking her tongue out. The truth was, she wasn't wrong. The next evening, Emily worked her magic again. This time, she kept things simple, no wig, just my natural hair styled neatly, and a light touch of makeup to enhance my features. She picked out a pair of skinny jeans, a flowy lavender top, and white sneakers. "You look perfect," she said as I checked myself in the mirror. I smiled, feeling a familiar mix of nerves and excitement. "Thanks." When we arrived at the park, the sun was just beginning to set, casting a golden glow over the crowd gathered on blankets and lawn chairs. The smell of popcorn and freshly cut grass filled the air, and the sound of laughter echoed around us. As we found a spot to settle in, I noticed how at ease I felt. No one gave me a second glance, and I didn't feel the same self-consciousness I'd experienced at the zoo. Instead, I felt normal, like I belonged. Lucy pulled out a deck of cards, insisting on a quick game before the movie started. As we played, I found myself laughing and teasing her, forgetting entirely about the fact that I was presenting as someone different. When the movie began, a cheesy romantic comedy, Emily leaned over and whispered, "Having fun?" I nodded, smiling.
"Yeah."
"This feels good. Like really good." She gave me a knowing look. "Told you." Over the next few weeks, I found myself slipping into Alexandra's shoes more often. It started with small moments, trying on outfits in the privacy of my room or experimenting with makeup. But gradually, I began to join my family for outings as Alexandra, each experience building my confidence. One weekend, we went shopping at the mall. Emily insisted on helping me pick out a few items for Alexandra's wardrobe, as she called it. I felt a mix of embarrassment and excitement as I browsed through racks of clothes, trying to imagine myself wearing them. "You've got to try this on," Emily said, holding up a sundress with a floral print. I hesitated, but her enthusiasm was contagious. "Okay, fine." In the dressing room, I slipped into the dress and stared at my reflection. It was a strange but wonderful feeling, seeing myself this way. The person in the mirror looked confident, happy, even radiant. When I stepped out to show Emily, her face lit up. "You look stunning. You have to get it." I laughed, but I couldn't help agreeing with her. "Okay, fine. But this is your treat." "Deal," she said, grinning. As time went on, I began to embrace this new part of myself more openly. My family's support was unwavering, and their encouragement gave me the courage to explore my identity without fear of judgment. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Mom brought up the idea of attending a community event, a local fair with food stalls, live music, and games. "It sounds like fun," she said, glancing at me. "What do you think, Alex? Or should I say Alexandra?" I blushed but smiled. "Let's do it." The fair was bustling with energy when we arrived. String lights hung overhead, and the air was filled with the aroma of fried food and the sound of laughter. As we wandered through the stalls, I felt a sense of belonging I hadn't experienced before. At one point, we stopped at a booth offering henna tattoos. Lucy and Emily immediately lined up, and after a moment of hesitation, I joined them. "Which design do you want?" the artist asked, her smile warm and inviting. I chose a delicate floral pattern that wound around my wrist. As she worked, I found myself chatting with her, feeling completely at ease. When she finished, Emily grabbed my hand to admire the design. It's beautiful. You're really embracing this, huh? I nodded, a genuine smile spreading across my face.
Yeah.
I think I am. By the end of the evening, as we walked back to the car, I realized something had shifted within me. Alexandra wasn't just a role I played for fun or experimentation. She was a part of me. And for the first time, I felt ready to embrace her fully. As we drove home, Emily turned to me and said, "So, what's next for Alexandra?" I thought for a moment before replying. I'm not sure yet, but whatever it is, I think she's here to stay. Emily grinned, and Mom reached over to squeeze my hand.
We're proud of you, Mom said.
And we'll be here every step of the way. As I looked out the window at the stars overhead, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known before. This journey was just beginning, and I couldn't wait to see where it would take me. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.